take it to the next level this year, these 6 books are gonna make a world of a difference for your business. All right, guys, so number 1 is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. This is an incredibly important book because, let's face it, real estate can be an extraordinarily difficult journey. And one of the most important things you can do when you're struggling is to revert to your why. If you have a deep understanding of your why, it's gonna help you overcome those difficult days, those tough transactions, and the times where you feel like giving up. Start With Why is without question the number 1 book that you need to start with, because it's going to help you overcome all of those difficult times in order to break through plateaus and remember exactly why you're on this crazy journey. Book number 2, Atomic Habits. This is exceptionally important because real estate agents tend to build up very bad habits of being ineffective, inefficient, and losing focus on the income producing activities that they need to do in order to build their business. They oftentimes revert to the things that are easiest to do because they don't have the right habits of being diligent, hence why most of them can't properly follow a content calendar for posting on social media, they can't follow a fitness calendar for staying in shape, and they can't follow their own business schedule for remaining hyper productive. So if you're ready to start becoming hyper productive and following through with the things that you set out to do, Atomic Habits is going to be the book for you. Number 3 is probably the one that most of you heard of, which is Ninja Selling. Ninja Selling is the art of selling. It's the art of negotiation. It's the art of converting. It is without question the best book in terms of becoming a master at the craft of communication, which is a skill that everybody needs in real estate, whether it be recording videos on YouTube, in a listing presentation, converting an online lead. Communication is the number 1 skill that real estate agents need, and it's the number 1 thing that most of them are lacking. So Ninja Selling is going to be the secret sauce to becoming a master communicator. Number 4, 0 to 1. This book is life-changing. This is a book done by some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, talking about how to remove distractions, have a singular point of focus in order to make massive goals happen. And this is why most agents fail, because they set this big transactional goal at the beginning of the year, but they have all these distractions along the way every single month, and then they get to the end of the year and they missed it by a landslide. If you've got the intentional singular point of focus, you've got your blinders on, that will help you dominate your goals and exceed your own expectations. And 0 to 1 is going to be the book to get you there. Number 5 is Contagious. Contagious is a book that helps you understand why certain things stick. And what I mean by stick is looking at marketing initiatives and understanding why the general public latches onto certain things and certain brands and why they don't with others. And as a realtor, you need to become and remain top of mind, and the only way to do that is to become contagious. So this book is going to help you understand the psychology behind creating things that people latch on to, gravitate to, and want to stick behind. And finally, number 6, Epic Content Marketing. This is a book that I've read a couple of times now, and it's great for understanding how to build attraction marketing, how to create content like video in order to attract clients at scale to you on autopilot. That's the biggest goal for real estate agents, is removing yourself from the point where your business only grows when you're cold calling, door knocking, putting out mailers, and putting in the time. You want to build a scalable business where people are coming to you. And the best way to do that is to have a proper understanding of content marketing that attracts people to you. So those are my top 6 books for 2021 that are a bit unorthodox, but are going to make a massive difference in your life. So all the links are below. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below if you've read any of them, because I'd love to know what your feedback is. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.
What's up, guys? Robbie here. If you want to learn how to make $1,000 a day online in 2021, then I want to show you exactly how to do that. And it has nothing to do with Amazon, nothing to do with drop shipping or even e-commerce, guys. The way you do it is by using this specific
Are you a realtor looking for book recommendations? Well, this video is for you. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is BC. Welcome back to another video. I constantly get video requests about books that I recommend, right? So I wanted to shoot a second video to follow up the original one that I made for 2019, which I will link in the cards for you if you haven't seen it. And this one is in regards to books that I specifically will recommend or would recommend to somebody who's in real estate, whether you're new, you're seasoned, it really doesn't matter. These books are definitely going to help you. I've read them all. Now that I look at them, I read them all a very long time ago. They're not new to me, but if they're new to you and they help you, then more power to you, okay? Now, again, not all of them are necessarily related to sales, but we're gonna break them down. One of them I don't have with me because it's at my office. However, it's an old school book that I know you're gonna love, and I'm saving that one for the end, okay? First one that I have here is somebody who I've known for a long time. I've known about the man since probably 2004 or 5 when I graduated high school, but as of late he's become very popular and he's touring and speaking, and I'm glad to see him blow up because he's very intelligent and he knows what he's talking about. And the book is Relentless by Tim Grover. Now, I've recommended this book before, I believe, to people on live streams and stuff, but I don't think I've actually come on my YouTube channel and recommended it. Tim Grover is somebody who trained very many professional athletes. I started following him in 2005 because he used to be Michael Jordan's personal trainer. He would help him do weightlifting, explosive training, plyometrics, and that kind of stuff. And that's something that I was interested in. And I remember I followed one of his plans. He had a book called Jump Attack, which basically was a few pieces and portions of the workouts that he gave Michael Jordan. And I got a hold of that book in 2004, 2005 when I first learned about Tim. And I followed that workout plan over a summer, and that summer I went from being pretty damn athletic to super explosive. Before I started having ankle injuries and all these other problems that forced me to retire from basketball, I got to the point where, and again, I'm 6'2", I'm not a big dude, I don't have super long arms. I could walk into a gym without even being warmed up and just dunk with 2 hands, easy. And before that I could dunk, but not like that. So in terms of speed and explosiveness, his book back in 2005, Jump Attack, helped me a lot. Now, when he came out with this book, I forget the date, he's somebody who's worked close with so many athletes like Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade, for example. So he understands the mindset of somebody who's at that level. And that's what this book really talks about, right? I'm so big on mindset. This book is going to help you tremendously with that because that's the key, guys. I talk about mindset being the key all the time. And believe me, if you read that book and you understand where he's coming from, number one, you're going to realize that that top level mentality is not normal and you will be ridiculed for it and criticized, but at the same time, it's really, really necessary, okay? Like he'll talk about the difference between a closer and a cleaner, and that's a very, very key thing, okay? So I recommend, again, Relentless by Tim Grover. Get that book, okay? Second, this is a classic. A lot of people know it, maybe some of you don't, but it really talks about a lot of the things that I preach, especially when it comes to somebody being new and building momentum in their business and really getting things going, okay? It's the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, okay? Really, really good book, really, really good book. I remember reading it and just being so fascinated with the simplicity of the book, okay? Many of you who are in the beginning stages of any type of business, especially those of you who are realtors, you tend to get frustrated and angry right away. You want the results now. The work that you're putting in today,
Hey, check this out. This is Scott. He was only making $50K a year before he learned this skill. And now in just 6 weeks, he's seen these results.
That's 8,000 is like, what's your commission on that? 8,400. 8,400 in commission for 6 weeks.
And this is Steve. Steve took the
week, this month, you still don't have that long-term vision to see that what you're putting in now will bear fruit and it will turn into something. This book is gonna put things into perspective for you and really help you see that. And sometimes when I say it, you're not gonna really understand it or believe me, but you have to hear that type of advice or those words of wisdom from more than one source. And the more you hear it, and from the more different sources that you hear, it further confirms it, reaffirms it in your mind, and now it becomes really just materialized in your head, and you really start believing it and understanding it, okay? So again, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, okay? This one, this next book is by one of the participants of $1 Million Listing, one of my favorites. And I remember reading this book, I want to say, I believe it was 2 or 2.5 years ago. And I think this dude is a beast, and this book will definitely help you put things into perspective and really see what it's like to be a mega agent, kind of behind the scenes, and to get their backstory. And it's The Cell by Frederick Eklund. Shout out to him, man. My favorite of all time on the show is Luis, right, out of all the shows. But I would say Frederick is a close second. And this book, again, The Cell by Frederick Eklund, not only does it really give you his background and his story and kind of how he created his empire, because I think he's like the #1 agent now in the whole world as far as sales volume and his team and stuff. But, you know, one of the things that he mentioned in here that I thought was key that I want to share with you, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the book, was he said up until the show, you know, all of these mega 5, 10, 20, 30, $40 million listings were highlighted and people thought it was all about that. But he said, you know, up until pretty recently, his bread and butter was the middle range home, you know, 700, 800, 900,000, because that's churning and burning. So for all of you who are getting into real estate, and of course we all have aspirations of selling the $20 million homes, he said, do not let that jade you, right? The average consumer, the majority of the volume being sold is that middle range. So here in LA, it would probably be around 5, 6, 700,000, maybe even a little bit lower in some places. He's like, focus on that, man. And if you get the 5, 10, 20, $30 million homes, that's great. He's like, but I would get a handful of those a year, and my bread and butter would be the middle range homes, because again, there's volume in that, okay? So again, make sure you see things from the proper perspective, and this book definitely is going to help you see things from his perspective, give you the story on how he built his business, you know, how he came from Europe over to New York with his dad, and you know, that whole story. So a lot of you might know him from the show and know some of his story, but this book definitely is going to give you some strategies, some tips. I know he gives some tips as well, working with new developers and how to get in contact with them. So highly recommend you read that book, okay? Number 4, second to last, is a book that I've reread 2 or 3 times, and many of you ask about this and want to develop the skill, and many of you maybe realize the importance of it. However, it's crucial that you master it, especially if you can, early on, okay? And it's The Secrets to Power Negotiating, okay? This book by Roger Dawson is amazing because it breaks down a lot of the interactions that you have when you're negotiating. Again, this goes beyond real estate, and a lot of the situations are not real estate specific. However, the datums and axioms, meaning the laws that you learn, is basically the blueprint that you need for different situations in real estate and in life to help you with negotiating, okay? So it breaks it down. Basically, each section is a type of situation that you're going to deal with, or a certain type of negotiation strategy that you can implement, how to counter it if it's used against you, how to use it yourself, how to set it up, the words, the scenarios, and everything. So especially if you're newer to negotiating, it really is a phenomenal book just to give you an overall gist of what negotiation is like, how to make sure you're able to utilize leverage, how to get the upper hand in negotiations, how to re-stimulate a negotiation that seems dead, and those types of things, how to know when a negotiation is dead and to move on. So it really, especially from a beginner standpoint, it really